Hey guys, I'm Chef Dean Max. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're gonna have a nice healthy vegan dish, so don't miss out. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos and ring that bell and I'll let you know what I have coming up. So stay tuned, it's vegan time. Okay you guys, today we've got this vegan recipe that I'm doing for the day. Just felt like eating something healthy. And I had some black beans left in my fridge. Now, black beans, if you want to click up here, I've got a another recipe teaches you how to cook black beans. And what you end up with, these beautiful black beans with a nice liquid in there. And what I want to do with that is I'm going to take a certain amount of these out. Probably not going to use all of them. I'm probably going to take half of my container. So this is a quart container, so it's half a quart container of beans. And well, I'm going to take some of that liquid, I'm going to add it back in here too, because I don't need all that liquid. You can see the beans and liquid are equal to each other, right? So that gives me something to do with my beans, and I've got some extra there to do something else, because I'm only making a small amount today. I'm going to take some coconut milk, okay, and I'm going to probably take, let's say, half. Yeah. Love coconut milk. Maybe, you know what, maybe more. Okay, and I'm going to puree that up. Now I'm going to put a little salt, just a touch of salt. My beans are already salted, but we're adding all of that coconut, so a little bit more salt will be good. And then I'm going to blend this, okay? Okay, now I blended it. I'm going to crack it open. It's cold, which is great. You know, a lot of times we're blending stuff that's hot, and it's a little bit different. So in this, I want to taste it. Now, it's going to look real grainy to you because the coconut is cold, right? But as soon as the coconut gets warm, it'll be beautiful. Okay? So it also, you know, puree is much smoother and fat when it's hot. But it's also hard, you know, it also creates a lot of steam in there. So you don't have to do that. Now, why am I not adding other veg to this? Because we're going to eat a lot of veg with this dish, and my beans were already cooked with veg and stuff, so I don't really need it. So all I need to do really is take my black bean soup here and lay it in here. Now, you're going to see it like it looks white and black, like speckled, right? But that's going to change because you're going to heat it up really good. So I put this in a little pot. I'm going to stick this on my stove, right? And I'm going to put that on a low heat, and I'm going to let that slowly get hot. While we do that, we're going to make the rest of this dish. Okay, you guys, now what we're going to do is I'm going to heat a pan up here, okay? I'm going to put some olive oil in it. Put a good amount of olive oil. And I'm going to start by putting some nuts in there. And you're like, what, nuts? These almonds. And the reason I'm adding the almonds in is because these almonds are just blanched, which means they're going to be lightly cooked, but they're not toasted. And I like to toast them in the olive oil. And I also like to put a little salt in there with them, right? So these are slivered almonds. You could use sliced, or if you wanted to use whole, you could. I've got garlic confit. Now garlic confit, you can also click up on my left here and get the recipe for this garlic confit. It's basically cooked garlic. So I'm going to put a big spoon of that in. I love that flavor with that. And I'm going to take a little bit of turmeric as well. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of turmeric in here. I like the flavor and the color. I don't want to overuse dry turmeric. I don't like to overuse dry turmeric. You know, they use turmeric in mustard, so it tastes a little mustardy when you do that. So I'm going to use some smoked paprika as well. So this gives me a little smoky pepper flavor and a dried pepper flavor. The turmeric's very healthy for you. And when we use fresh peppers, you have smoked dried peppers and you have fresh peppers, which is really nice. Now we've got these little kind of like bell peppers, baby bell peppers, these small peppers. They're not hot. They're just, they're sweet. So what we want to do is what you do on these is I cut on different sides. So I cut on one side, on 3 sides. And when you do that, you cut the little seed pocket right out. Not that that seed is really spicy or anything, but it just, you know, you don't need those seeds in there. They're not going to be flavoring this very well. So with that, I just go back and I dice these, right? Now, I've already done that with probably, you know, 6 more peppers. So I'm going to add it all to that. So you can see I have my peppers here. Now, I'm letting this toast. You can see how I'm letting that toast, right? Now, I'm not spreading the garlic yet because I want it to toast these almonds a little bit with those spices. And now I'm going to do that. Now, what you want to do is before this gets too cooked or too burned, these spices, right? You're going to add your peppers in. And your peppers are wateriness, right? They're like onions. They're wateriness. Speaking of, we're going to do an onion next really quickly. So I'm going to cut the ends of this onion off. Okay, and I got a small onion here. And I just want to slice these onions like this. So just sliced onions. Okay, and the sliced onions I'm going to put in there as well. Okay, and you want to stir this good now because you don't want any almonds or the chili powder sitting on the bottom of that pan getting burnt, right? What you want is you want the water that's in these peppers and these onions to start cooking out. And that dripping out water is going to keep the pan moist and keep those spices from burning. If your pan's really hot and you're worried that it got too hot and that those spices are going to burn, just put in a little water. That's fine. You could do it like this. Let me show you. You could just do this. See that? You hear that? That's basically the water slowing the whole process down. Now it's steaming. You see it steam, right? Don't worry, that water is going to disappear anyway. That's what happens when you add water to, you know, a hot pan, right? It's going to evaporate. So what it's going to do is just give these vegetables time to like cook out a little bit. Now, let's put some corn in there. So the corn, you know, a lot of times people have their ear of corn up like this and they slice it down. I always just put it down like this. And that way it doesn't have as far to drop and it doesn't go all over the place. So, you know, we're going to just slice it like this off the cob. And I've got beautiful summer corn like this. So peppers, onions, summer corn, right? And at the end, we're going to add a little spinach to this, okay? So with this is just a beautiful vegetable saute. You can see the corn like this. Add that in. You don't want any hairs of the corn. I kind of try to get them all off, but sometimes some of them want to sit on there. So if you see any, just pull them off. Okay? Then you stir that in. Now the corn takes about 6 minutes to steam, so that's going to be perfect because the rest of this dish is only going to take us about 6 minutes to cook this down. Okay? We're going to add spinach towards the end, right? And we're going to add tofu in this as well. And you guys are like, tofu? Tofu is great. Buy a silken tofu, and I think you guys are going to love it. I don't like the really extra firm. Now, yes, the extra firm, you can dice it and have it all in this perfect little circle, but it doesn't have the same texture. Tofu, to me, is about texture, right? When we look at this tofu, right, it comes in the water, keep it in the water. We can cut this, like, look at this, like, it's like cut like cheese, right? We can cut perfectly nice little dice chunks like this, right? And now, if you're not going to use all of it, put it in a container and put it in your fridge, but keep it with the liquid that it came with. But what I'm going to do is add that tofu in now. And then this tofu, we're going to kind of scramble this in here. And gives us this great flavor for our dish. So let me see how much we're going to need. That might be enough. You know what? I have all of this. I'm putting it all. Boom. Right? So 1 container of tofu. Right? 2 ears of corn. 1 onion. 6 or 8 little baby peppers. Right? Now, this tofu is going to break up, which is fine. We want it to break up. We want it to break up and cook nice, right? Give us a creaminess to this whole dish, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to add some pepper. So I'm going to do ground pepper. Put as much or as little as you like. If you like things peppery, put more, right? Now I want to taste it. That's getting really good. Now, it needs a few things. It needs salt. Needs more salt. So I'm going to add salt to that. And it needs to cook for probably like a minute or 2. I'm going to check on my soup is getting close. So let's go. Let this cook for 2 minutes, and then we'll get our soup ready, and we'll plate this thing up and eat it. So I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, we're back, and I've got my tofu is getting ready for the spinach, right? So I think I'm just going to throw a big handful of spinach in there like this, right? It's got nice flavor. I'm just going to kind of, at this point, you just want to tuck the spinach in so the heat starts to melt the spinach a little, okay? We're not looking, you don't have to cook spinach any certain time. We just have to just wilt it a little bit. We want the spinach leaves to wilt under the heat and let some of the water from that release. And it makes the spinach very palatable like that. So it makes this dish really a kind of a nice leafy, garnish. And I'd like a whole bowl of spinach. I'm going to put it all in. It kind of disappears on its own, so you don't have to really worry about, oh, I used too much. You can never use too much spinach. You can put the whole container in here because the spinach is super good for you. Now, what you're gonna notice is like this tofu, the soft tofu like this, because it's not one of these firm, really dehydrated tofus. It's the silky tofu, and you can look for that. So don't look for the extra firm or the extra hard one. You want the silky, okay? So what you get now is you get this dish that the tofu kind of breaks up, and it looks like scrambled eggs, but you have this really healthy dish now. Look at that. Beautiful, right? So to fix it, to serve this, we're going to take, I have my soup here. So I've got a beautiful coconut black bean soup, right? Like this. Put a couple ladles in. And then I'm going to take this beautiful garnish. It's got the crispy almond. That's why you want the almonds in there. Why do we want almonds in there? Because they're crunchy, right? The tofu is soft. The spinach has a nice flair to it, right? And the peppers have a little bite to them as well. So if everything was soft, it would be boring, right? But this isn't the case with this. Everything has nice texture. So you're looking at a very healthy vegan meal here. You've got protein, you've got vegetables, you've got garlic, healthy for you, turmeric, you've got spinach, super great vegetables, super fresh. This took us minutes to make, and we had it with this leftover black beans that we had in the fridge. So you guys enjoy this at home. I hope you like it, and give me a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you back soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.